Hello, and welcome to episode 10 of the Black Sheep Knitter podcast. My name is Sarah, and I will be your host for today. I am in Madison, Wisconsin, where it is unseasonably warm. It's like 35 degrees today or something, and it was raining. Like, what? I'll take it though, because we basically had like all of winter in like 3 days last month. So anyway, if you are a fan of the fiber arts, knitting, crocheting, sewing, quilting, this is the place for you. Although, if you've been here before, you're probably wondering where I've been since last February, which I think was my last episode. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. If you're new here, never mind. I'm going to try very, very hard to be more regular this year. I even have my craft room. I have a chair and my tripod set up to make it easier to post more regularly. But anyway, we shall see. Just a couple of things to get out of the way. My hair is crazy today. It just is what it is. Also, it's trash pickup day, and for some reason they're late. So I was waiting to make this video, but I can hear them outside. So you might hear some squeaking, squealing, screeching from the trash trucks. It was either today or like not for like another 6 months. Anyway, what am I wearing? Oh, also I'll probably be a little rusty. But yes, what am I wearing? Okay, I don't want to get all the way up because my knee hurts. And honestly, if I tried to get up, I probably would hurt myself. So you can see it, I think, on my Ravelry, which I will leave a link to below. But this is the Spector by Locatelli. I will get a little bit closer though so that you can see the detail of this yoke. Like, look at that. My goodness. My goodness. Anyway, I finished this sweater in 2022, but so you know how like sometimes you have these ideas where you're like, it has to be this way or it's like not right. I finished it. It took forever. It's fingering weight. I use Madeline Tosh Merino Light, I think, and like a bunch of colors. Those are going to be in Ravelry. But once I completed it, I was like, I want this to be reversible. So the way that you knit it, if I remember correctly, is that at some point you turn it inside out so that you don't have to purl. And so then I was like, I kind of like both sides. Like I like how the fade looks on the inside and the outside. So now I have to undo all of the ends I wove in and then try to weave them in as seamlessly as possible so that I can wear it both ways. Anyway, all that to say, it has been in my closet unfinished since 2022. I went last weekend and I was like, I'm gonna finish this sweater. Like, what am I even doing? Like, what is going on? I forgot about the like reversible because I didn't look at Ravelry. I just was like, I think I need to weave the ends in. Is that where I was? And so like, as I start trying to weave the ends in, they're already woven in. I was like, what? So then I'm like, after like the fourth end that was already woven in, I just started snipping them off because I'm like, what? And then I went to Ravelry and was like, oh. I was on some BS in 2022. That's what was happening. So anyway, I am currently 46. My birthday was December 12th. We're not doing any of that anymore. No more perfectionism, no more. I just wanted the sweater finished so I could put it on my body. And it is on my body. I will say it is on a body that is not quite the same as the 2022 body. It's a little snug, if you know what I'm saying. But whatever, it's on. And I think it's gorgeous. And I love the neckline. I love the yoke. I'm very sorry that I can't stand to show you the fade because actually, you know what? I can show it to you on the sleeve. Although it doesn't look as good on the sleeve. Doesn't look as good on the sleeve. Oh, there's a little chicken arm. Oh, anyway, that's what I'm wearing. That's what I'm wearing. So anyway, this is going to be a little bit of a lengthy episode, but let me also say for folks who follow me on Instagram and who know that I went to Scandinavia, I am going to go through some of the yarns that I purchased in Norway and Denmark, but not all. I was really out of control. And I'll get to that later in things that are putting a pep in my step. But I just wanted to mention that up front. I also will not be talking about the things I got at Wisconsin Sheep and Wool, things I got at Scandinavia Night at my local yarn store, things I've purchased since then. Those things will just come up as I make things. That's that. I'll just talk about them when I start to make a thing with them. Also, do you see this wisdom stripe? I feel like it's kind of giving Rogue from X-Men. Although I'm not a huge fan of like a chunk of gray. I was really hoping it would be either white by now or like more evenly distributed, but like, anyway, all right. So let me get to my finished objects. I will also say that despite the fact that it has been almost a year, I don't have that many. I did not do a lot of knitting in 2025, at least not at the beginning of the year. And a lot of that had to do with work stress. I got reorged at my company and I had to basically join a totally new team and like maintain a product almost by myself, which was kind of crazy for like months. And then I went to Norway. So yeah, that was like 6 months. And then we'll talk about what happened with the latter half of the year and why there wasn't that much knitting happening then either. But I am back. I have been knitting like my life depends on it. So again, I will have more things to share this year because I will be knitting more. And honestly, there really wasn't anything to show you except for stuff I was buying, which feels you know. All right, so first thing that I finished, and let me get my iPad back up because of course it was up and then it decided to not be up as soon as I wanted to read it, which, as you know, if you've been here, happens to me every single time. But I finished my Kigi socks by Yucca. So here they are. I have not worn them. They've been sitting on my bookcase in my office. I think I was so excited to finish something like last year, early in the year, that like I was just like, great, they're done. And then it was like, okay, but I'm not gonna put them on. Like, why would I wear them? So I'm gonna start wearing these now that I remember that I finished them. But I just wanted to show you the little detail of the cuff and also its ribbing on the forefoot. Let me see if I can. There we go. So yeah, I like them quite a bit. They were very challenging to knit. I was not into them. Once I finished the cuff, I was like, oh, it's ribbing. But it's also not mindless ribbing. I forget exactly because, again, it's been like a year. But it was just enough that it was annoying and not satisfying to knit. So but that's just a me thing. I don't really like ribbing. So anyway. But I love the final product, love the colors. Pattern was easy to follow, I think, from what I recall. And I think they're gonna look really good on my foot. So there we are. All right, so those are the Kigi socks. Also, if you hear things hitting bags, that's me throwing stuff out of the way because honestly, that was the other thing is like trying to find a space to sit and then trying to find a space to stack things and then trying to find a space to put my, anyway. Okay, now the next thing that I finished is a lovely project for a friend of mine who is having her first baby. Not having, she's had the first baby, and I still have the thing I'm getting ready to show you. Though I want to point out it was done before the baby showed up. I just we couldn't get our schedule sorted to get it to her, but it was done, which is like, because usually, I mean, I still have a quilt somewhere for my baby that's like maybe 6 or 7 at this point, and it's not finished. Anyway, this is the Little Squares Knitted Blanket by Julie Harrison. Yay! So my friend told me that she loves purple, and I knew that they were having a girl, and I wanted it to be kind of just like gender neutral. I didn't really want to do like a pink blanket. I don't know. They're kind of, I don't know. They're traditional, but they're not like that kind of traditional, if you know what I'm saying. So anyway, I thought this would be fun to make it more her color, since honestly the baby isn't going to care what color the blanket is, but she's going to have to look at it like all the time. So that is what I decided to go with. Now this is Knit Pick Shine Sport, which I have used before for garments. Never used it before for a blanket. And I gotta tell you, like this drape, it's really nice. Like, look, and you can even see on the, like how smooshy it is. Like, look at that. Oh, it's so nice. The one thing I don't like is that since it's knit modularly, the back, which looks fine, it's whatever, but it's got a lot of texture. So there's a lot of picking up stitches. There's a lot, so it's just got like ridges. And part of me is like, that's not really ideal for a newborn. It's not really ideal for a newborn. I kind of don't love that. I'm like, is that gonna like, are they gonna be able to feel that like pickup edge? So I was gonna try to like knit another one, and then I was like, I don't have time for that. I certainly wasn't gonna make it. I mean, although now she doesn't even have the blanket. So anyway, but then I thought maybe I'll just sew like a piece of like fleece to the back, but then RIP Joann's, like where does one even get fleece? I called Michael's, they didn't. Anyway, so I didn't know what to do about that. I then thought maybe I'll just sew a piece of like cute baby fabric to the back, but I couldn't find any to work with these colors. So she's just going to get the blanket with the ridges, and I hope that it doesn't irritate the baby, but I just, yeah. Anyway, I do still love the blanket though. And I think somebody recommended it as a tummy time blanket. And I was like, that would be perfect. She could just lay it on the floor, and then the baby could lay on top on the nice side without the ridges. So anyway, Little Squares Knitted Blanket by Julie Harrison. Very nice pattern, very fun to knit, very easy to make up, very impressive. Like people were like, oh my God, it's like so square. I was like, it is square. Which I had some doubts because I was like, I don't know about trying to sew all these squares together and then putting on the, like, what if they don't, but it was fine. It was fine, worked out. So anyway, super cute. All right. Okay, the next thing that I want to show you that I finished, which I finished just a couple of weeks ago, is the Tulip tunic. So I was at my local yarn store, which is the Sow's Ear in Verona, and I saw a sample of this sweater and was like, I'm making that right now. Immediately went and was like, where are my yarns? Luckily, they had just enough of the background color that I wanted for me to make the sweater in the size that I needed, which I believe was a size 3. Hold on. Let me actually just like ask Ravelry, because I mean, I don't know. It doesn't even really matter. Who cares what size I made really, but 48 inch. So I don't know where I got 3 from. Okay. So let me show you the picture that was the inspiration. And of course, okay, really, iPad, please, please. Okay, this is the inspiration for the sweater. So I loved that oh, sorry about the glare. I love that the collar has a little bit of the yellowy green to mimic the flowers. And I also love a gray and a yellow. However, I decided that 2026 was going to be the year of not gray plus a color pop. Did a lot of that in the last couple of years, especially because of Stephen West. But I thought, you know what? I want my color palette this year to be closer to some of the fabrics I got. Oh, I also went to the Wisconsin Quilt Show. The Greater Wisconsin Quilt Show. There's also stuff from, anyway. Those colors are going to be pinks, oranges, lavenders, just kind of like, I wanted like more of like a cool, warm color palette. I don't even know what that means, but like those colors, mauve, peach, coral, orange, those are just colors I generally don't wear, but I like. And instead I do a lot of gray and black and color pops, which is fine, but like kind of at this point. So I decided to make it in this color combination. So it is still the yellow. Oh, sorry, this thing is huge. Oh my God, what even is going on right now? Okay, so there's the yellow, but I used this sort of dusty, purpley mauve-y color as the background, and I absolutely love it. I love it. Like, look how good that looks. Like, this is a color that I honestly have worn before and just kind of forgot that I like to wear. Like, what? I don't know. This is just getting old, you know? Like, the brain, it's full. It's full. I got to go in and do a defrag to, like, clear out some space so I can remember stuff. But anyway, luckily I saw this and I was like, I'm going to try those together, and perfection. The other thing is I wanted it to be a giant sweatshirt. And so I wanted to give it a little bit of a sporty pop by adding just a little stripe. Never mind that. This was supposed to be the back. And so I didn't really care about how I joined the stripe, but then I changed my mind. And so now, anyway, I also did it on the cuffs, and I did a rapid decrease, which I can't remember the website I used, but Taylor over at Hands. Oh no, I can't remember what her channel is called. Anyway, it'll be down below. But she was talking in her Franken sweater videos about tools that she likes to use to make sweaters. And one of the tools was a calculator that actually, like, you can tell it how many stitches you have, and you can tell it how many stitches you want your cuff to be, and it'll like figure out the decreases for you. So I use that, and like this thing, I mean, it's perfect. So love it. Now, you might remember from 2 seconds ago that this was a tunic. So I don't know if I like, it has to be user error, because I looked at the other projects on Ravelry and those sweaters look gorgeous. Somehow, maybe I'm getting a dowager's hump. I don't know. But like, it was so high up my neck before I even really started the neck, that I was like, oh no. Even if I just crocheted, like, I was like, this is too, it's like so weird. It's so weird. I don't know what was going on. So I decided to just give it a shot, and I knit the entire neckband this much with the color and everything. And then I put it on, and I was like, it's floppy and it looks horrible. So I ripped it back out. I then considered doing a folded neck, but I was like, it's still going to be halfway up the back of my neck though. So then I was like, what this really probably needed was like some shaping, but like it's knit from the bottom up. So I didn't know that it was going to need the shaping till I was already at the neck. And I was like, I'm not really sure the best way to add the shaping, because it's got like these decreases that you do. Anyway, the construction is interesting, which is why I was really excited to knit this. But it also meant too much like mental gymnastics to try to figure out how to rip back while maintaining the decreases, but also adding short rows. And I was like, I don't think the short rows are going to help. But maybe it's just, it needs more space so that it can slide down the neck. I was like, I don't know. But that was too much thinking. It was way too, especially in December. Like, no. So instead I said, well, if you want to go up my neck, why don't you just go all the way up my neck and over my head? So I decided to improvise a hood. Now, I think, yes, I made a sweater years ago for my mom that has a hood. Do I remember how I made that hood? Absolutely not. I don't remember half the knits I did like 10, 15 years ago. Like, I see pictures and I'm like, who made that? I knew that technique back then? When did, So anyway, I had to do some Googling, and I found, well, I remember what I found. No, but I did find on the internet, like, kind of a concept of a hood. And it was like, I'm gonna sort of take this concept and see. And I don't know if I did it right or not, but what I did at least ended up being a hood. So here we are. Here's my hood. Now you can see that I continued my little sporty stripe, and I also tacked down this brim. Now, why did I do that? Well, because since I was improvising, if you look very closely, this edge was basically unattached to anything. It was just sort of hanging out. Now, when I discovered that halfway up the hood, I was like, oh, that's going to look really crazy. I'm like, I got to go back and like attach it. But then that was going to close it up to like, and I was like, my head's not that big, but it's definitely not that small. So that is not going to work. So instead, I consulted with several people about the absurdity of having to rip the entire hood off and start over, and then rested on just folding it back and tacking it. And luckily I was able to fold it back right on that diagonal line. So I actually think it looks pretty intentional. So anyway, this was quite a victory. And I put it on. It's super cozy. It feels amazing. It looks really cool. And it also introduced me to my new favorite worsted wool, which is Blue Sky Fibers Woolstock Worsted. I'm gonna try. Do you see the halo? Do you see that? It's just wool. There's no mohair. There's no mohair. Like, look at that. So I was like, it's $10 a skein. It's soft. It's easy to knit. It looks like you've used mohair. It's my new favorite. So I need them to come out with more colors though, because I'm trying to make a black sweater and I'm fairly certain that maybe it's just my local store doesn't have black. You guys know my struggle. I'm always looking for black yarn, and I thought we were past this. I thought we were past this in 2026. Could just be that I can't see, because that's also true. That's also true. All right, so that's my final FO that I completed in 2025. So that's all I did. That's not true. That's not true. Let me not be ridiculous. I also completed this hat. This pattern, you know what? I don't even think I put this in my notes because it was such a, I don't even want to talk about this hat. I'm not even going to talk about it. But let's just say it was very challenging to knit. I knit it with some friends. We all struggled. But I did finally get a pom-pom that actually looks decent. I just need to trim it and then attach it. So I think the finished product will actually be nice. But it was... If you really want to know, let me know and I'll put it somewhere. But meh. Okay. So now, let us move on to my whips. Very excited about my whips. So I have decided that 2026 is going to be my personal year of sweaters. I looked through my wardrobe and I was like, where are all my sweaters? Like, didn't I knit a bunch of sweaters? And the answer is I did. I knit them with cheap materials because I was a college student and then a grad student and then a teacher. And I didn't have money for nice yarn, so they didn't last. So those sweaters are all gone. Even some that were intensely cabled and gorgeous and were made out of Caron Simply Soft. Like, I would never in 2026, because like, what? But cables take a lot of yarn and it's expensive, and Caron Simply Soft is a lot of yardage and honestly feels very lovely. And the jacket that I made was gorgeous, but did not last. So I need to make more sweaters, like this sweater, like my tunic, like the projects I'm getting ready to show you. So let me show you my first sweater. I'm gonna start with the Sea Aster by Zanete Knits. And I did make a bundle because in my almost year away, I noticed that people were doing lots of bundles all of a sudden. So while I'm not going to edit and I'm not going to put pictures on the screen because that's editing, and I'm still going to do this like old lady, like just show you the picture. There is a bundle. Anyway, so this is the Sea Aster by Zanete Knits. I love her patterns. She does really fun color work, and she also has really great charts that have ladder back jacquard intentionally put in and not, and she has dark on light and light on dark. So all your bases covered. Great patterns. So I'm using, oh my goodness, good Lord. I'm using Madeline Sock in the colorway Bubblegum Alley. And here is what I have so far. So this is a little awkward because I've got yarn attached, but there we are. There we go. That's a little bit better. There's nothing much to see. This is the back with the short row shaping. When there's actually more of the motif, I will show that to you as well. But right now it's got the ladder back jacquard stitches, and also there's like 1 or 2 stitches of the motif like on the front of the work. So that's what I've got so far for that. So I'm using, like I said, Madeline Sock, and then the pink, I believe, is also Madeline Sock in the colorway Pop Rocks. So bubblegum and Pop Rocks. I don't even think I realized that, which is hysterical to me. That is really funny because I used to consume both of those things like all the time. Okay. See what I mean? Know where to put things. Okay, the next sweater that I'm going to show you is one that needs no introduction because everybody and their granny has made this sweater. It is the Lumme by Sari Nordlund. Now, I have been wanting to make basically this exact sweater, the white one, for forever. But I don't know what yarn that is. I do not have access to cream tweed. I swear I had some. Maybe when I get my craft room and my yarn sorted, I'll find it, but I could not find it. I don't know where it is. So instead, I decided to use my stash. And my beloved black Rios and make my first attempt at a Sari Nordlund pattern, which I'm really excited about. However, oh, also, cool. Glad that the outside wants to make noises. So I've got the black Rios. These are the 2 colors I decided to use. Now, I knew that this was variegated and speckled, and I was like, I don't know. But then I thought maybe it'll be kind of like an interrupted version of the yoke, which would be kind of cool, a little distressed looking. And the color is wilted, so like that also seemed kind of fun. However, no, not loving it. So, okay, let me try not to knock over all of those things. So here's what I have so far. Now, to be fair, on camera, it kind of looks better than it looks in person. It looks a little bit, actually, yeah, it looks a little bit more defined. But the fabric is like kind of stretchy and springy in a way that it's super wash, of course. And I think that the wool stock kind of ruined me a little bit, where I was like, this is really not the texture that I want for this sweater. I want the fuzzy tunics. I want the fuzzy tunic feel. And I also think I just want it to be a little bit more, more obvious. Although, honestly, it looks pretty dang good on camera. Maybe I'll rethink this a little bit. Maybe now that I'm showing it, I'll rethink it. Anyway, we'll see. Luckily, I haven't ripped it out yet. But what I was thinking when I was at the yarn store over the weekend was I really want to make this sweater and I want to wear it before it gets too warm to wear it. And I mean, the way that I've been knitting for the past year, it probably going to take a couple months. So I better hurry up. So I decided instead to get these yarns because I also don't really have any green. I don't have any green. So this is eucalyptus and this is bottle green, and it's the Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino. So this would be the background color, and then this would be the contrast in the yoke. I thought that would be really pretty. And this color generally tends to look pretty good on me. This one, meh, but it'll be down here, so you won't even really notice it. So we'll see. Now I'm not sure, because seeing it on camera versus seeing it in my hands, I think maybe I'm just too close to it. And so I might actually still be able to get that distressed kind of vibe that I was hoping for with those yarns. I might be able to, in which case now I've got all this. Anyway, this is the story of my life, honestly. So anyway, that's the Lume sweater number 2. And then finally, I am planning to continue on with, with my beige joke. Now, if you were here last year, or maybe it was the year before, you know that A, I don't love beige, B, petite knit, C, that's really it. Petite knit, I felt like was pretty overrated, and I really don't like beige, and so I made a beige tank top, which I thought was hilarious, even though it was, I was told less beigey than it could be. Whatever. It was beige for my skin tone. However, since then, I have made several Sophie scarves and enjoyed them. And I decided that I would make another project that is the ultimate joke, but hopefully wearable. We'll see. And that was to make the Oslo sweater by Petite Knit. Now, I decided to make it in beige. So I am making a basic Petite Knit beige sweater in yarn I purchased in Oslo. Everyone I tell this to is like, really? Like, that's kind of like, you're going kind of far for this joke. And I'm like, I know, but like, that's just like how I am. That's just my personality. So anyway, here we are. Oh, wait, hold on. What am I doing? Where are the shoulders? Did I have this upside down? What's going on? There we go. There we go. So it's kind of weird on camera. So apologies, but there we go. I think maybe I need to be holding it more like this. Is that it? Sure. So, you can see that it's not the worst beige for my skin tone. It's not the worst. Not as grayish as the beige I used last time, but you know, whatever. But I will say I'm using Drops Daisy. No clue what color it is. So, this will be more, actually, who am I kidding? It won't be more professional next time, but I'll remember that I need to remember the colors more next time. But yeah, Drops Daisy, which I hadn't used before. I love it. This also, if you can kind of see the edging, also has like some fluff and some fuzz and a little bit of a halo. No mohair. It's really nice yarn to knit with. I'm really surprised. And I've been knitting this for a while. It's just, I mean, at this point, it's just like knit straight down. And so it's super boring and I'm just using it for meetings. But I haven't seen any pilling, even though it's been kind of getting like thrown in a bag and like kind of, you know, roughed up and what have you. So yeah, really excited. I will say, as much as I'm like, meh, petite knit, look at this. Like, that's a fun shoulder detail. So the construction, like the way that this gets put together is really fun. And I was really excited to learn something new. And also like how she shapes the back, I thought was really fun. So yeah, I see why people knit petite knit patterns. Don't worry, this will not become a petite knit channel. But yeah, I don't have any more like, oh my God, petite knit. Like, it's fine. It's whatever. So yeah, so that's my joke. And I think it's going to be really pretty. Hopefully. We'll see. All right. Now, let us move on. Let us move on to acquisitions, shall we? Now, as I mentioned, I will not be showing you everything that I got because I don't even know where it all is. But I will be showing you some of the things because I have some patterns picked out for them. I'm not going to tell you about those today because I didn't write them down, and so they'll just come up next time. But I did want to show you some new to me brands. That was really exciting and like really fun. So first off, I went to a store called Strikkefeber in Oslo, and they stock Pickles yarn. Nope, just kidding. Pickles stocks Pickles yarn, starting with Pickles. So I went to Pickles in Oslo, and I decided that I wanted to pick up some yarn for a sweater that I will tell you about next time, but it's so nice. So this is the Bliss base. It's 40% baby alpaca, 40% Highland wool, and 20% mohair. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, don't look at the fuzz on it though. It's so fuzzy it collects other fuzz. But like, look how fun that is. So this is the color palette. Unfortunately, this is coming out like way brighter than it is. It's much closer to this in color. But yeah, so I'm going to be knitting a yoke in this color, and then there's going to be some stripe action going on with these two, which I'm really excited about. So Pickles Bliss, and this is Summer Ull, so cotton base. Okay, so there's that. I also got this really fun bag at Pickles. The owner's daughter, it's sort of a play on girly pop, so instead it's pearly pop, which I thought was really cute. So that was another fun acquisition that I got there. Oh boy, apologies in advance because it's getting ready to be, there's just going to be lots of noise. Okay, so I also went to Garntopia, and I was able to pick up some sandness garn, sisu, in these colors. So the sisu is these labels. I feel like the Scandinavian labels are like very minimalist, makes it challenging to find things. So 80% wool, 20% nylon. So your basic sock yarn. And lo and behold, I'm going to be making socks. So I will share those patterns again as I get to them. But yes, so very excited to try the sandness garn, especially because a lot of non-American knitters use sandness garn like all the time. So I'm just like, I also would like to experience sandness garn. Thank you very much. And so now I can. So that was Garntopia. So then, oh, apologies. This part's going to be rough. So sorry, but it is sadly going to be very rustly because all these yarns ended up in a bag. Okay, so now we're back. I went to Strikkefeber, and they mostly had mohair. So they had a lot of mohair. They had a little bit of baby alpaca, like, yeah. And that's kind of it. Like, I was a little surprised that it was like a mohair store. But when in Rome, or as one might say, when in Oslo, so I bought a bunch of mohair, even though I'm not really a mohair girly, because I mean, I wanted to get yarn from every store I went to in Oslo. When I say these things out loud, it just makes me sound crazy. But anyway, so first off, we have cream. Now I know what you're thinking. Sarah, what? However, it is for a fun cardigan that they have a pattern for. And it requires a base color and then a bunch of crazy other colors that you just kind of stripe in willy-nilly. And so I needed something like a canvas, if you will. So this is the canvas. It is their fluffy mohair. It's 78% mohair, 13% wool, 9% nylon. So we'll see how I mean, I don't even really wear mohair like that, but the concept. So here's the base. And then I decided to use their fat mohair, which is interestingly the same proportion, just spun thicker, for the stripes. So we have Sukkabit, Solnedgangen, and berry. Oof, much easier to say. So these are the mohairs that I'm going to use with the white. So I'm just going to randomly throw them in there and see how it goes. We'll see. But very excited about these. They're super fun colors, very bright, very cheery. Feels like it would be like a good kind of like fun spring sweater, like cardigan to throw on, but I also may never wear it. I mean, whatever. It's okay. Oh, and now I'm really covered in mohair. All right, back in the bag. The other thing that I got, which was to hold this with other yarns, was I did actually get some of their alpaca because it was so pretty. So this is their Alpaca Air base, which is 100% Super Baby alpaca, and it is in the color Pink Panther. Okay, so I don't know what I'm doing with it, but I got 4 skeins because I was like, that should be enough for a sweater or something, right? Hope so. Hope so. I gotta really stop kicking this thing. Okay. So that was Strikkefeber. So we've got Pickles out of the way, we've got Strikkefeber out of the way, and we've got Garntopia out of the way. So those are all the Oslo places. And then there is, oh, I don't know if I have that in here. Let's see. I do not, but it's okay. So the Drops Daisy, which I showed you with the Oslo sweater, I got at Tjorven Garn. So that was the other yarn store that I made it to, which was lovely. I don't think I got to every yarn store in Oslo, but I got to 4. So I'm gonna call that a win. Now, I did take the night boat. Shout out to my coworker Demira, who lives in Copenhagen, for helping me figure out how to take the ferry to Copenhagen from Oslo and then stay there for a day or 2 before coming back on the ferry, because they have this ferry that is like an overnight thing where you just go and come back. And I was like, wait, but I want to go and visit you and get yarn and come back. So I need like at least 1 night there. So I did that. I stayed at a hostel. But anyway, the ferry was lovely. Like, it was really a very fun way to travel. Yeah, I really loved the ferry. So anyway, but you might know that Knitting for Olive is in Copenhagen. So that was my #1 priority, was going to Knitting for Olive and meeting up with my coworker. I did both. But first, I did not have the best time in Copenhagen. People were very much not friendly to me. Don't know what was going on there. Everybody else I know loves it, but they were very much like not feeling me or something. People were very rude. I do not speak Danish. I do not understand spoken Danish. I do speak Norwegian now, but I couldn't tell what was going on, like how to get anywhere. I kept asking people for help, like, and like trying to figure out where my hostel was, because the boat didn't have Wi-Fi, and so in order to switch my eSIM over, I needed Wi-Fi, and there were no coffee shops open, there was no nothing, and I was just like, I don't know how to get to my hotel, my hostel, and 0 people would help me. Like, none. Like, I would be like, do you know where this is? And I'm like, I don't have Wi-Fi, and I don't know how to get here, and just like blank stares and like shoulder shrugs, and I was like, cool. So anyway, by the time I finally found Wi-Fi in a grocery store, without asking anybody, by the way, because again, nobody was helpful. Turns out I had just walked the wrong direction, and had I walked the other direction for like 10 minutes, I would have found anyway, it's fine. But I texted my coworker and I was like, I would love to meet you for lunch, but I gotta stop for a yarn break. Like, I'm stressed. I'm stressed and I need yarn. And there happened to be a yarn store like 3 minutes from the hostel. Like, look at the universe, okay? It knew what I needed and it provided. So this place was called Lindstrik, I believe. Sorry, Lindberg Strik. And it was the most darling little yarn store. They were so friendly, so lovely, and they had all the Isager. I've heard people from like Finland and other parts of Scandinavia say Isager, but then I've also heard a bunch of people say that it's Isager, so I don't know. But anyway, whatever it is, I got some. So I am going to be, oh, sorry. Also, I'm getting a really good shot of my stripe. Okay. So there was a sweater hanging on display called the C6, which was designed by, I'm just going to say Isair because I can't remember Pernille's last name, but she's one of the main designers for the brand. And so I just basically said, like, which yarns would I need to make the sweater? They showed me a bunch of yarns, and there's some that you hold together, and I thought, I'm not really sure about these colors that you've got, but maybe this could be interesting. So I got some of the Isair Spinny, which is 100% pure new wool in the color 1S. I also got some of the Isair Alpaca 1, which is 100% alpaca in the color 16. And I got some of the Isair Tweed. Does this have, please, somebody have a name? Thank you, in the color North Sea. So I am going to, hold on, I don't need to hold all of these skeins. So I'm going to use these colors to knit that sweater. So it's knit sideways, so that's another technique that I don't know how to do. So I'm really excited to learn how to do that. It's cabled. And it's again, this is this color that, like, I'm trying to get more rust, mauve, etc. in my wardrobe. And so I saw this and I was like, that's definitely coming home with me. So this is going to get, I think it's these two are going to get like kind of marled together. So I think that's going to be really interesting. And then you have some of these like other, like the way that these other things will play together. So anyway, really excited. That sweater will be coming up later in the winter. But yeah, excited to try Isair because I hear about it all the time and I have never been able to get my little hands on it. And now I have. So here we are. Okay. Now let me hurry up and speed this up because knitting for Olive. Okay. So first of all, I did really bad things. Okay. I did really bad things. I'm not even going to show you all of it. I can't. I got 4 sweater quantities worth of yarn. And you know, honestly, at the time it felt ridiculous, but I was so happy to see them in person and to be able to like color match the mohairs and everything, because like when you're just buying stuff online, it's kind of, anyway, so I was really excited. And then I thought, oh my God, why, like, what am I even doing? I literally could have just ordered half of this stuff online. And then the tariff situation happened. And I was like, ooh, glad I ordered all of that, or glad I picked all that stuff up in person. Now the tariffs are kind of, but like, no comment, no comment. So let me just very quickly, I'm not even sure what I'm even trying to do right now. There's just so much in this bag. But I will say that I'm making 2 sweaters that are sort of there's the dot sweater. Let me see. iPad, why are you like this? Why are you like this? Okay, so there's the dot sweater, which I'm knitting with a friend of mine. I'm going to make it with a black background, though, because I'm more of a dark sweater kind of person, generally speaking. So I've got, oh my goodness, there is so much in this bag. Ugh, ridiculous. All right, so I'll just show you the background. So this is the black and the mohair that I'm going to use for the background of that sweater. And then I have a whole bag of different colors. Let's see, maybe I can just grab a couple so that you can get an idea of what I'm doing. Oh my goodness, there's just so much chaos going on over here. Like, what even? I can't even grab everything. Oh. Okay, here's some. So I'm going to use this plus some other colors. And then I'm going to make another Knitting for Olive sweater that I don't have a picture of right now because I haven't decided when I'm going to knit that. So trying to be better this year at having the yarn, having the pattern, and then putting it in my queue and then knitting from the queue. So right now I think I have 10 projects in the queue, all of which I have yarn and patterns for, which is really exciting. first time I've done that in a long time. So anyway, I have a lot of knitting for Olive, like a lot. Like a lot. But none of the local yarn stores here sell any of the yarn that I purchased. So I feel good about that. They only sell the, what is this? The stuff that I was going to use potentially for my Lume, the heavy merino. They have the silk, and I think that might be it. Maybe the cotton. So anyway, so not as much as I would like. Not as much as I would like, but we're getting there. All right, so there's other stuff that I got there for another sweater, another 2 sweaters, but I'm just not even gonna, we'll get to those when I actually get to those. The last thing that I wanted to show you is another sweater that I'm planning to make by Lily Kate France called the Piping Hot, which I'm very excited about. So here's a good detail. So it's a basic, air quotes, basic sweater, but then it's got piping down the shoulder and the sleeves and the front of the body. And I love it. Like, I really love it. So I'm really excited to make that. And I'm even more excited because of the yarns that I chose. So initially I was going to knit this from stash also because I have 11, I think, skeins of this Deerfield, Valley Yarns Deerfield. This yarn has been in my stash since like 2012. Maybe even earlier than that. It's probably earlier than that. And it's gorgeous. Like, it's such a nice color. It's actually not even showing up the right color here. It's a little richer than this. But it's really soft. It's where is the yarn composition? 80% baby alpaca, 20% silk. Like, this is, especially for just like a simple sweater, like, I think that this would be so nice. And the plan was to hold it with this Malabrigo Dos Tieres in Aniversario. I thought that was going to be really fun. So they'll have the pipings be this sort of like variegated color. I thought that would be great. Unfortunately, I don't think I have enough of this. I think I have like 1,100 yards, and I think the size I want to make needs like 1,500 yards. Normally, because my torso is short, I can kind of get away with like kind of like a little bit of yarn chicken, but I'm like 400 yards, it's probably not going to work. So instead, I decided to pick up some of the Magpie Fibers Swanky DK in the color Jolene. Y'all, it's like an emerald green. It's kind of showing up here a little mossy, but it's like a rich, deep emerald green. And then I've got the Aniversario. I'm like so excited. So anyway, sometimes life throws you a curveball and you just have to curve with it or something. All right. So anyway, so those are sort of my acquisitions / a little bit of my winter knitting plans. I would love to do some of these like pattern roundups that people do, but those look like they require editing. So anyway, so yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. I will also be making something a little bit later in the winter, and I will talk about that in a second. But first, let's get to Pep in My Step. What is putting a pep in my step? So I mentioned that I had been reorged and that I had spent 6 months basically working on this tool by myself, super high touch. And then I went to Oslo, and then I came back and I said, you know what? I'm back now and I'm getting a puppy. I'm getting a puppy, dang it. And so I did. I rescued a puppy. And let's see if I can even find a picture of my little cutie. He's so cute. Let's see if I can find something. Oh, there he is. There he is. What a cute little thing. Sorry, this is going to take a second because, oh, here he is as a little baby. Oh, there he is. This is my Lika. My Lika. Oopsie. So yeah, now he's almost 11 months. In fact, he'll be 11 months tomorrow. He's such a cute little thing. But he is a lot of work. So this is my first dog. I've never had a dog before. I got him as a puppy. He was 5 months. And everybody warned me. And I said, I mean, yeah, but like I work from home and like, meh, blah. No. People were correct. So that's also where I've been, is raising a dog. I was trying to keep this dog alive and trying to train him, taking him to classes, buying food and toys and taking him on walks and trying to figure out why he's not sleeping and cleaning up poop. And my God, so many things. So, but I would not trade him for anything. He's at daycare today, which is how I can film this video. That's the other thing, is that it's very hard to film videos when he's at home because he's learned how to bark. He's very excited to learn how to be barking these days. So there's that. But yes, that's my little sweetie. So that's one thing that's putting a pep in my step. Another thing that is putting a pep in my step, which is a continuation from the last time we talked, which is Norwegian. So I am completely obsessed with Norwegian culture and language. I read the paper all the time. I watch TV shows. I still am taking my lessons. It's like really fun. So I went to a yarn store last weekend, and one of the people that works there has a degree in Norwegian studies, and we just like started speaking Norwegian, which was like really fun. So like that was amazing. So yeah, I am surprised at how much I love Norwegian, given how late in the game I discovered Scandinavia. Literally was like 45 years old and was like, what? Huh? And now here I am. So yeah, so there's that. The other thing that has been really great is I have been getting back into watching podcasts. So because I'd been so busy and stressed and whatever, like I kind of like let my podcast watching go, which is unfortunate because I love making podcasts and watching podcasts, and neither of those things was happening much last year. So I just wanted to shout out a couple of podcasts that I've been watching lately, which I am obsessed with. Absolutely love them. So one of them is called Kate Knits Slowly, relatively new channel, but she knits the most beautiful things, and she's very intentional about slow fashion and sort of knitting to learn and knitting to expand like one's understanding of knitting, which I think is really cool and something that I'm trying to do this year, especially. Along the same vein is Kate Casts On, Kate C-A-I-T. All of this will be in the description. But she also knits a lot of really cool, technically challenging things, but with an eye to like sort of stretching and challenging herself, which I really like. Another person that I am super grateful for is Knit Cheek. So I've been watching her channel, like binging her channel, because she's done a lot of videos on organizing your stash, your yarn, digitally and in person, which I need digitally and in person. Like it's crazy in here. I'm so glad you can't see the floor. Anyway, so she's fantastic. I think she's primarily a sock knitter, but I've been watching her organization content and absolutely loving it. She's how I got down to 10 items in my queue and everything else favorited in some bundle or other. So very excited about her. I've also been watching Breathing Yarn. So I love her content because she spends a lot of time talking about self-drafting patterns. So supporting designers, but also like coming up with your own designs and figuring out how to make those things work for your body. And so that's something that I'm also looking to do this year in 2026. So very much enjoying her channel. And then finally, last but very much not least, is Ruby and Pearls. I just love how thoughtful and like process focused she is on the things that she makes. She knows what works for her body and what does not. She knows how to modify things. She's aware of like what is the most comfortable and how she likes to wear things. So as a result, she ends up with garments that are exactly what she wants. And I think that it's taken me a while to sort of internalize that like not everything looks good on me. And sometimes positive ease isn't necessarily a bad thing. So, so her channel has been like really instructive in sort of thinking about positive ease more from a comfort level than from a like, is it going to make me look bigger level, which is kind of what I always think of with positive ease. So anyway, so those are the channels that I've been watching. Absolutely loving them. If you have any suggestions for channels, please put them below. Because yeah, I am locked in on the podcast now. And then the last thing that I wanted to say before I go is something that's been putting a pep in my step is going to bed at 8 p.m. Now I know as we get older, some people are afraid to turn into like an old lady. I'm not. I'm leaning into my older years. Now I know I'm not old. I get reminded of this all the time. However, my eyesight's going, my bladder's going, my hair's going, my knees going. I mean, stuff's going, right? Like there is a point at which you do start to like degenerate a little bit, and like doesn't have to be a negative degeneration. I'm very curious about all the things as they start to decline, and I honestly find it kind of fascinating to sort of be living it. Which I don't know if that makes me weird or not, but I don't know. So going to bed at 8 is just like, it's one of my joys. Like I'm like, I can go to bed at 8. I don't have to stay up till midnight. I don't have to stay up till anything. I can just go to bed when I'm done when I'm done being awake. And then sometimes that means that I wake up at like 4 a.m. and I've got 2 hours before I've got to take the puppy for his walk and give him his breakfast. And that's like 2 quiet hours that I have to myself because I went to bed at 8. It's amazing. So anyway, all that to say, embrace your natural rhythm in 2026. Don't let people tell you that you're too young or old to do what you want to do. Just do it. Just do it. Whatever it is. Even if it's going to bed at 6. Which honestly, if I could get away with it, I would be in bed at 7. But I tried that. Didn't really work out. So, so 8 o'clock it is. But yeah. Really enjoying it. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Apologies again for all of my longtime viewers who are like, where the heck are you? But feeling very much more locked in on my crafting this year. I've got a lot of big fun goals that I want to accomplish this year, and I'm going to share all of that with you guys. So yeah, I like the video. I don't know, whatever. Like it, subscribe, whatever the stuff is. Mostly I would say subscribe because I'm really random, but also like it probably doesn't even matter. So, so yeah, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful and peaceful January. Bye.